Hey guys, it's Bryn and I am back today with another book review video. I have 5 books here that I read over the past couple of months and I am so excited to tell you about them. I have quite a variety, I think, so let's just jump into the video. I hope you enjoy it. So the first book I have is called Every Last Word by Tamara, I don't know, Ireland Stone. And this is a book that really surprised me. It is very much a young adult book. It is about a high school student named Sam who has a bunch of popular friends who aren't very nice to her, and she kind of struggles with dealing with that. So in that way, I think it is very kind of like a stereotypical young adult book. But what I liked about this book was that it took that kind of generic storyline and then took it to the next level. Sam is dealing with OCD, but the interesting thing about it is it's not OCD in the way that you typically see OCD represented, I think. And honestly, it's a quick read, it's a fairly short book, and I kind of just thought it was okay until I got to the plot twist. At that point, everything in the story just kind of turned upside down, and it really made this book worth it for me. And it reminds me so much of another book, but I feel like if I tell you what book it is, it's totally gonna give away what happens. So if you want to know, you can message me on Tumblr, I guess, and I'll respond privately. So yeah, very similar to another book that I know of, but kind of more of a young adult version, I would say. The next book I read was highly anticipated, and it is Grace and Style, The Art of Pretending You Have It, which I loved because I love Grace Helbig. I actually Instagrammed a picture of me reading this and Grace liked it, so no big deal or anything, but I honestly think I liked this one a little bit more than I liked Grace's guide. But if you're a fan of Grace Helbig, you will probably like this book. You may have already read this book, but if you're a fan or you don't know who Grace Helbig is, go check her out. She's amazing. I think my favorite parts of this book were actually the Sweatpants Diaries, which were kind of like little parts of fiction within the rest of the book, which is like primarily nonfiction. So definitely recommend for fans of funny and dumb and weird and puns, fashion but not like serious fashion, and that sort of stuff. Another book that I read was pretty different than books that I typically read, and it is called Doulas, A Minimalist Guide to a Simplified, Organized, and Happy Life. This book was a random Amazon purchase that I don't remember doing. I don't know what happened. I guess just one night I decided that I wanted to have a more simplified life and I bought some books. But anyway, I did end up reading it and it wasn't awful. To be honest, I just kind of skimmed it, but I did underline some things and I went back and looked at it before talking about it in this video. One thing I did really enjoy about this book was that it talked about how we make so many different choices throughout the day, and every time we make decisions, our energy lessens and lessens. So by the end of the day, or even by like the afternoon, all of our energy is gone because we just make so many decisions about when to wake up, when to do this, how to do our hair, what to wear, what to eat, etc, etc. So it just gives a lot of really good tips about making routines and decluttering and eliminating small choices throughout the day. And also not to fill your time with things that don't really matter or don't really make you happy, or that you just feel like you should be doing but you don't really have to be doing. So it's just something different that I read and it was interesting, and I don't know, sometimes it's good to go out of your comfort zone. So if you're looking for a more simplified, organized, and happy life, check this book out. So the next book I read is called The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken, which is the first in the Darkest Minds series. And this book is kind of difficult to describe or like wrap up in a sentence. Basically, all of the kids under the age of like 16 start developing this disease, and some of them die and the other ones just gain like weird abilities. Obviously, everyone freaks out and they send all these kids to like rehabilitation camps. The main character's name is Ruby and she has the ability to see memories and kind of take people's memories away. So she manages to escape the camp, find some other kids, and they're kind of in search of some other people, and things just go on from there. I really liked this book because it had so much going on. They have powers, they're on the run from people, they're looking for people, they have secrets, they have romances, they have friendships. and just all sorts of different things happening at once. And there's just a lot of enjoyable parts, and I think everyone can probably find something in it that they enjoy. I also really loved the characters. I really liked Ruby a lot, and it also really reminded me of The Fifth Wave, which I talked about in my last book video, which is still like one of my favorite books. So if you enjoy that kind of adventure type of books but with powers instead of an alien apocalypse, then maybe consider checking this out because I really enjoy it, and I am currently on book 2 of the trilogy, so I am definitely enjoying it. And the last book I read was also very highly anticipated, and it is Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. This book is a part of the same Shadowhunter world as all of the other Cassandra Clare novels, but this one is set in Los Angeles, and I believe it is the closest to present day, unless there are books that I don't know about. You ever feel like you're hearing a phone vibrating, but there's no one else in the house and my phone is not vibrating? Mandy, do you have a phone that I don't know about? No response. This book focuses on Emma Carstairs, who is a shadow hunter, and she's trying to figure out who killed her parents, and in the meantime kind of finds herself trying to figure out this big mystery. I said mystery, not hey Siri. So as you can see, this book is huge and it is a commitment. It also takes quite a bit of time to really get into the excitement of the story. The build-up is just extensive, which is why I don't think I would recommend it if you have not read any other of Cassandra Clare's novels. I heard it a lot before reading this novel, and now that I've read it, I totally agree. You should definitely read the Infernal Devices and the Mortal Instruments series before reading this one. Not only because this one kind of includes characters and storylines from the other novels, but also just because I think those ones are a lot easier to get into. I feel like this one would be kind of difficult to really like care about and understand if you haven't read the other ones first, just because it's so large and like it honestly takes like 500 some pages to really get into like the main big events of the story. So if you haven't read the other ones, I just don't think you would enjoy this as much. That aside, the only thing that bummed me out about this book was the lack of like really sassy characters. I consider Cassandra Clare to be like the best at creating that kind of like sassy, sarcastic, laugh out loud character, and this one just didn't really have it. Like Emma was almost there, but just like didn't quite live up to my expectations. Another thing that I think was different about this book than the other one is that I feel like the other series were like closer to the characters than this one. It changed focus a couple of times throughout, but mostly it was focused on Emma's, and you really only got deep into Emma's perspective and not really anyone else's, in my opinion. So while I really liked Emma and I thought she was a good character, I just feel like all the other characters were kind of like middle ground because I didn't really feel like I got to know them very well. But still, if you're a fan of Cassandra Clare, I definitely recommend this. I think you will enjoy it if you've enjoyed her other two series, just because it's the same kind of world and Shadowhunter stuff happening. So if you know that you're already a fan of that, I think you'll definitely enjoy this book. If you're not a fan of Cassandra Clare yet, if you haven't read her other novels, definitely start there. I would not recommend starting with this at all. Alright, that is it. I hope you enjoyed this second installment of my book club book review thing. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up so I know that you want to keep seeing these maybe every couple of months as I'm reading. And also, if you enjoy books, I do have a Goodreads account that I will link below where you can kind of keep up with what I'm reading and what I'm thinking about what I'm reading. And I also have a Goodreads book club. It's not like an extensive book club. You don't have to read what I'm reading at the time that I'm reading it, but basically on that page I just kind of show what book I'm reading at the moment if you want to read it with me, and we can also start like discussions, and you can post videos and photos and different things. And I think you can also like recommend me books to read if there are books that you want me to read and later review in a video. Okay, I'm done rambling. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on Thursday with another video. Goodbye! A pic? I'm not gonna answer it. We done?